What's happening, folks? Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for your Twitter reactions to Rangers 1, Celtic 0 at Ibrox. We'll start tonight with Stan. Was happy at half time, apart from Eddie's chance. We failed to push on in the second. The set piece are undoing again. Kyogo wasted in the wing, a few empty jerseys, but nothing Ange could have done to change the course of the match from the bench. Need more depth in pronto. I think today, it's strange. I just said in the post match pint there that I felt like it was just too early for us. Like, to turn the tide in these fixtures, you need a bit of time. This is only the fourth league match of the season. I thought in the first half we equipped ourselves well. I thought Rangers were happy to let us have the ball. We controlled possession. We didn't really create enough. I think we were in the ascendancy in the first half, and the game, it's a bit of a game of two halves, because I think Rangers were probably the more dominant team in the second half. But when we're in the ascendancy in the first half, Edouard needs to take that chance. You need to take the chances when you're in the ascendancy, and we only had one today. We only really had one clear-cut chance in that first half, and Edouard had to take it. But it's early in the season. I think you can tell the teams are much, much closer than they were last season. The derbies that we played last season, we were absolutely miles off the pace. That wasn't the case today. The game could probably have gone either way on another day, and as I say, I just think it's came too early in the evolution of this Celtic team under Postecoglou for us to get a victory today. It was really disappointing to lose it, and the set piece, again, for the set piece to kill us the way it did last season is really, really frustrating. But we move on, and as long as we can keep up the momentum that we've built in the last few weeks, I think we'll be fine this season. Ian Beveridge, you can go on about players, but the fact is they are not better than us. We are our own downfall every time, from slack passing to wrong decisions. This season we'll have plenty of ups and downs, but come the next game in January, I believe we will be ready. That's the challenge for us now. The next derby is going to be at New Year. We know that. I think in between now and then, we've just got to get a consistent run of wins together. We're going to have tougher tests domestically than we've had so far. We have a lot of home games. We've got to go to Livingston. We've got to go to Hibs. Though there's maybe a trip to Pittodrie in there as well before we face Rangers in January. But the season is going to come down to it's a 38-game season. We have to make sure that we don't drop as many points as we did last season against the rest of the league. We've got 2 derbies to come at Celtic Park still, one more at Ibrox. We've got to be in touch when we get into those latter stages of the season. And I think we can do that. I think the progress that we're seeing, I don't think we're anywhere near the finished article that we will become under Postecoglou. And as I say, this game's come so early for us. We've played a lot of football. We've made the Europa League group stages. It's difficult conditions today. There's no getting away for that. Rangers have had the upper hand in these games. They had a full stadium today without any away fans. So it's really difficult conditions for us to go and perform in when it's the manager's first derby, managing Celtic. There's 5 or 6 debutants in the team. Really, really difficult conditions. And you can lose day games at the best of times. There's absolutely no getting away for that. And today we lost it. On another day we might have won it. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Patrick Murphy, thought we were outfought in the second half with Turnbull, Christie, Edouard and Abada all having poor games. Slow build-up played into their hands, and when we did get in behind at times, our decision-making wasn't good enough. We just weren't effective enough today. I think, as I said, Rangers were happy to let us have the ball. They conceded possession to us. I think in transition is maybe where we've looked the most vulnerable so far this season. And that's why I think Rangers were happy to let us have possession and sit relatively deep at times and try and hit us in the counter. I think in the first half that's what they did. That's Kent hits the post from a counter-attack. It comes from us turning over the ball. And then, the second half, they're probably the team that's more in the ascendancy. I said before the game that we've been getting these dips in about 65, 70 minutes, and we did really dip in the second half. We weren't the same team as we were in the first half. They did take control. They were winning more second balls. They were winning a lot of niggly fouls, as we talked about in the post-match pint. And then the ball goes out for a corner, and I thought our delivery from corners and free kicks today was really poor. We didn't beat the first man enough. They get a corner, and it's a good delivery. I think it might be Barisic that takes a corner. It's a good delivery into a good area. And Hillander wins the header. Like, as I say, it's just so frustrating for a set piece to be a downfall again, because I think from open play we restricted Rangers to very little. They didn't really cut through us. Joe Hart didn't really have any saves to make apart from that header for the corner. So that is a frustrating bit, that the game has been decided to be a set piece once again. Jamie Byrne, too many passengers. Edouard, Turnbull and Abada offered nothing. Poor second half, never got going, and too late with the changes. I think the changes today are restricted because of the lack of quality that's on the bench. Sorrow, Montgomery, Vogic, the players that came on, the only really attacking, striking option we had was a Yeti, he's just on the periphery of Yeti. Never really going to be in contention to come on and make an impact today. So there was a real lack of depth, a lack of quality on the bench, and that didn't help us, as I say, when we have these dips in the second half. We've really got to be looking to the bench to change things, to give us a different dimension, and we couldn't do that today. Vogic comes on with all the. We're watching it here in the pub, and there's an excitement when Vogic comes on the pitch, but he really struggled to get into the game. He had one cross that it was difficult for him to control because it's coming at knee high, but if he had controlled it, he might have been able to get a shot on goal, and the subs just didn't make enough of an impact. Sorrow coming on, as Kevin said in the post-match pint, is a little bit strange because we're not defending a lead. I think Turnbull was probably blown, to be honest. I think the team generally looked out on its feet towards the last 10 minutes of the game because we've had a lot of fixtures. They've been putting a lot into the game. We've been playing at such a tempo, such an intensity that is going to take its toll. We've now got an international break where hopefully the players who aren't away can recuperate a wee bit and we can get back to top gear in time for facing Ross County in a couple of weeks. Andy Boy 69, there for the taking, especially first half. Poor decisions, passing, finishing. Even second half we had the chances but ultimately didn't perform well enough. Morelos not spoken to once despite clearly diving all day. The Morelos thing's frustrating so many times today. He gets his body in, and as soon as he feels contact, any contact at all, he falls to the ground. That needs strong refereeing. We've seen down south, they've been talking a lot about how the referees have been more lenient since the start of the season. They're letting a lot more go. They're letting the game flow a lot better. That certainly wasn't the case today, and I think you need a strong referee when everybody knows what his game is. Like when Rangers are happy to let us have the ball, they're trying to get up the pitch at times, and Morelos just feels a touch and he falls to the ground, and it was a free kick 9 times out of 10. There was so many of them that weren't fouls. Like they're just not fouls, and the game should have been allowed to flow a lot better. But we didn't have a strong enough referee for that, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Second half, the chances, Kyogo goes through the middle, and you see the difference with him through the middle. A much more potent threat. He gets the 2 chances. One he should square to Christie, and then because the next chance comes 90 seconds later, he tries to square it when he should probably try and finish it. He also has one where he's through in McCrory, and McCrory gets a touch to it. He just doesn't quite get enough on it, Kyogo, but immediately through the middle. He was a much more potent threat, and I think Willard Edwards' days are numbered as a Celtic player or not. I think the future is Kyogo playing through the middle, and I think we're maybe still trying to bring in a winger. Will it be Lovric, who have been linked with over the last couple of months, or I think Jota for Benfica has been mentioned the last couple of days. I think we're trying to bring in another winger, and I think we need that because if Kyogo's going to be the man that plays through the middle, we need better options out wide. Abada we've got on the right hand side, who didn't have his best game today, but for the left hand side we need much better options. Mikey Johnson's been out of the picture for a while. His fitness issues just look like they're not going to go away, so we need much more depth there as we do in other positions around the pitch. We'll finish tonight with Franklin. Lack of options on the bench did for us when Edward didn't turn up. Pretty even match overall, but a failure of a midfielder to block a telegraphed run at a corner is criminal. A long season to go, and we need 2 or 3 more in, and we'll be looking good. I think the lack of options on the bench, as I've said already, did kill us. It was a pretty even match. It could have went either way today. I think any honest observer will tell you that the match could have went either way. We had the better of the chances for open play, but at the end of the day, Rangers out of possession were strong enough. They restricted us. Their shape and their spacing without the ball was good enough to restrict us to very few chances, and then the game gets decided by a set piece that we don't deal with effectively enough. You've got to hope that we learn for that. You've got to hope that going forward this season we can eventually eradicate that weakness for set pieces, because Rangers are really strong for set pieces. We've seen it in the derbies last season. We have seen it again today. That is something that going forward we have to eradicate, because you see the way the game unfolds today. In the first half, we are the better team. We're controlling possession. We have the better chances for open play, but the game gets decided by a set piece, and we have to brush up on that if we're going to go forward and really eradicate that and try and nullify that as a strength that Rangers have against us. That's it for the Twitter reaction today. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you after the international break for the build-up to Ross County. Cheers.